Why do I always have trouble with streaming? I know how to stream. I know everything. Everything that I need to know. And then it just likes to fail on me. Like, hey, we're live, we're working. No, not anymore. Do I trying everything? And I'm just like, is it working? And then it either works, and it fails, and it works, and it fails, it works, and fails, it works, and fails. Are we live? It says we're live, but are we really? That's a real question, ain't it? I don't know. I don't want to say anything. If you can see this, please say something, because the stream is not popping up. And this thing is not saying otherwise. So weird. It's not saying anything. It's not telling me anything. Say something. Of course, most of the time nobody is on. Most of the time only one or two people are on watching. But I don't know that because, well, if you can't see it, I don't know. Somebody say something. Oh, we are live. Okay. Thank you so much. We are live. Oh gosh. This person? Oh, come on. Let me do this. Yeah, there's gonna be more though, so yeah, yep. I spelled that wrong. Whoopsie. Grammarly found me though. It's like, hey, you spelled this wrong. I'm like, yeah, I know. No, don't fall asleep. Say hello. Potentially more. Yeah. Are we good? We sound good. Not like we're gonna die or anything. Die of the voice. Die of the voice. Dad, no, we're not dying of the voice. Thank you very much. We don't need to die of the voice. I don't need to say anything because everybody knows I'm live right now. Should I hop over to my desk, my docs? Because then you can take a peek. I have an idea for another thing I want to try to do, but I'm not sure I want to do it. It's a cool idea, but it also involves something with Stampy, Target, and maybe something to do with Easter. I should probably link my think so. Do not fall asleep. Last thing I want to do is fail because my iPad fell asleep. You know? I don't want to fail because my iPad fell asleep. I think it's safe to say we're alive and we're working and we're doing our best. Well, we are doing our best. The thing doesn't keep refreshing on me. You have no idea. You have no idea. Anyway, we should be good. I can turn this off. We can go here on my page. We can ignore that. We should be going. Nope, not quite. Not quite. I got rid of that one. Creepy. It pops up again. No! Oh well. Not the end of the world. Yeah, I've been looking at a few things. I've been working on a few things. Some of them are new titles. You can have a peek if you want. Look at all my stuff. Look at all my stuff that I'm working on. Or I was working on. Or I just saved for memory's sake. Yep, Searchlight is definitely right there. That's a sequel to Nightlight. Still considering reading that? But yeah. It had to be like face-to-face form because trying to rewrite 80-something pages on a Google Doc is going to take forever, especially since I already have it. I can just read it to you guys. Of course, you won't be able to see the text, but then you can always get it. Not that I'm going to get anything out of it. I don't get anything out of it. So, it's not like I'm self-promoting myself. Technically, I am self-promoting myself. I just don't get anything out of it. I don't know where it goes to. I'd be happy to know it goes to something good, but I can't be 100% sure. It's like I would love to have been able to let that happen. But I don't know. You'd have to ask Amazon, not me. They technically get the profit. Not me. We're trying to get to chapter 18. We had some drama. We had some rescues. We had more drama. And now we're about to go on the big rescue. Try to get Nettie back. Yeah. Just close enough time when Nettie shows up, Martin shows up, potentially more people show up, depending on how far I get. I'm sure I'll go far enough to have more. And one of the big reveals, and there was another YouTuber that has already been mentioned, but I haven't claimed that they are a YouTuber yet. Of course, you probably could have gotten a hint, because it's probably not. But it's a good character. Beavers, reindeers, elephants. 15? We are quite a ways there. Even though it doesn't look like we're quite a ways there. Why? Yeah, it has 36 chapters total. I know this because I wrote it. Of course. We made it through chapter 17, and now we're making it to chapter 18. Which is awesome. Question is, do you guys agree? Do you guys agree? It's awesome. Anyway, I should probably get started. No! I have some water! And I have... The sun went out a little bit ago, and now it's gone. The clouds have taken over. The clouds have taken over. It's so cloudy. Luckily, it's not raining cats and dogs. Or raining at all. The sun's peeking through. That's good. Yeah, starting to thrill. Might as well unplug it. Let's keep going. Shall we? If you pop in the middle, don't worry about it. You can read it when it goes public. Yeah, basically Stampy's taking the chance to try to help his sister out. And having to face his fears. You know, we're gonna see whether or not that goes very well. Or if Gerald just finds another way to feed more into his fear. We'll see. Chapter 18. Yeah, got the snifflies. I always get the snifflies. Stampy arrived at the bottom of the ladder, watching as Martin began walking down a long, white-walled hallway. It looked unnaturally bright, brighter and cleaner than he usually saw, much less than what he was used to. The cat didn't see any doors or entrances as he walked down, hearing their soft footfalls as they continued. Uneasiness filled him as the cat noticed something ahead. The hallway seemed to lead off in a dead end. But as they came closer, the cat realized that it had branched off in two different directions. One to the right, and the other to the left. The cat swallowed as his mind raced for ideas of what he should do next. If Nettie wasn't here, then she could practically be anywhere. How would they ever find her again? The thought of failure lingered in his mind as he tried to push it away, but it was no use. Not knowing was scaring him, more than anything else. He took a deep breath as they neared the end of the hallway. He was trying so hard to tell himself that he couldn't give up. Not now. His sister needed him. She had to be so close. He couldn't leave her to this man who wanted their kind dead. She was no exception. The cat shuddered at the thought of what Gerald could be doing to her. Was he threatening her? Hurting her with his manipulative words or cruel actions? Was he trying to destroy her? To take everything? Threaten everyone she cared about? To make her feel small and insignificant? The thought of that man hurting her filled him with anger, wanting to make sure that man paid for what he did to his friend, sister. Are you ready for this? Martin asked him. Of course, not doing impressions. Looking at his friend. Yeah, the cat said quietly, still a bit unnerved as to how quiet the area was. It almost seemed too easy. Probably is. So, which way do you suggest we go? The YouTuber asked. The cat swallowed. Truly don't think you're going to like my idea. Oh, what is it? The YouTuber asked, looking at his friend with uncertainty. I think it would be better if we split up, the cat said. If we stuck together and went the wrong way, it would give Gerald time to figure it out and take her away. I can't let that happen. Are you sure? It does seem a bit dangerous if you ask me, the YouTuber said. I know, but I don't want to lose her. I don't want that man to do anything more to her than he already has, the cat said. Besides, I know you won't be far away if I do need help. Okay, Martin replied, though he didn't seem all that convinced. How about this, the cat suggested. You go to the right and I go to the left. We'll take about 5 minutes checking it out and meet back here. That sounds good, the man replied, but what if one of us runs into trouble? We'll know by the 5-minute mark and the other person goes to help out, the cat replied. I know it'll work. Besides, Gerald won't expect me to be with anyone else. Martin managed a small smile. You are far more clever than you give you credit for. You're very right about that. Everybody seems to underestimate that guy. The man nodded in return, wishing him luck as he went down the right side of the hallway. The cat wished him the same as he went down the left side. The cat noticed instantly that there was a door at the end of the hallway. Same dark oak door. The same dark oak that oddly reminded him of his imprisonment in near-death experience. What? In a near-death experience, Mr. A. The door was the same. White walls seemed oddly familiar, bringing up memories of fear and abandonment. A shiver ran up and down his spine. Memories he wanted to forget. He remembered the pain of the collar and his cries of pain. He remembered wondering whether or not he would survive that experience. He had. He was stronger for it. The cat quickened his pace, not wanting to waste time that could be important to ensuring his sister was safe. If she was even here in the first place. No, she was here. She had to be. Gerald would do just about anything to get to him, including using his own sister. How he knew that he didn't know, but he didn't need to. He knew that this man had hurt him. He could be hurting his sister right then and there. Just imagining that man, the man looming over his friend, was sickening enough. He didn't want to see that happening. He wouldn't have it. Hero sign is coming out. Staffing made it to the end of the hallway and the door, putting his paw on the cool golden handle. The cat closed his eyes and took a deep breath, putting an ear to the door to listen. Silence. But that didn't mean that it wasn't empty. He slowly opened the door, prepared for anything and everything. He walked into a medium-sized room that was mostly empty except for a small cage surrounded by iron bars. The cat looked over at the small container and realized that there was something in there. No, not something. Someone. Long pause. Sitting at the bottom of the small cell was a purple bush baby the color of lavender. Her head was between her knees, her eyes were closed. But he knew that form, knew that figure from anywhere. He could see her shoulders rising and falling as if she was crying. He couldn't see her face. She was trying to hide her tears. The cat walked quietly over to the iron-barred cage that held his friend, his heart melting when he saw her. But as far as he could tell, there didn't seem to be any injuries. Good, man. Didn't hurt her physically, at least. Nettie, the cat whispered softly, not wanting to startle her. That help. The bush baby quickly looked up in surprise, her wide brown eyes meeting his own. He could see the tear stains on her cheeks as she clumsily rose to her feet, stunned by the mere sight of him. Stampy? She asked in disbelief in her voice. What are you doing here? I came here to rescue you, the cat told her, feeling a lump in his throat as he watched her face turn from disbelief to denial and finally to fear. Tears formed in her eyes as she slowly shook her head, gripping the bars that separated her from the cat. She looked up at him and replied in a hoarse whisper, You shouldn't be here. I'm not leaving you here to the mercy of those men, the cat told her, wondering how he was going to get her out of her cell. No, you don't understand, she said, her voice shaky as she said it. That man is looking for you. He wants you for some sort of plan he has. It's a trap. You need to go before it's too late. The cat swallowed, saw the seriousness in his friend's tear-filled eyes. She was scared for him, just as he was for her. He took a deep breath and pulled out a diamond pickaxe. Pulled out his diamond pickaxe, not a diamond pickaxe. But either would work in that sentence. I won't let that man get to you. Or me, for that matter. The cat watched as she bit her bottom lip and nodded, letting go so she could take a step back. She didn't say anything, but she didn't have to. She trusted him. After all, they were her only hope of getting out of here. If they failed, she would continue to suffer whatever fate Mr. A or Gerald decided for her. It could let that happen. But as he raised the pickaxe to break the bars, holding his friend captive, someone grabbed him from behind, forcing him to drop the pickaxe. The cat cried out in surprise as Nettie tried to run to him, but she was going nowhere. Suddenly, the cat was tossed to the floor, hard wood floor, cold and hard. The cat looked up to see that Gerald was looming over him, a hint of a smile forming on his face. Well, isn't this nice? Cement said coldly. You managed to escape from me, delay some of our plans, and reveal the cause of Mr. A's return. all while managing to evade capture or even death from those who should have been your allies. No thanks to you, the cat said bitterly, trying to see around the man to his friend. I was kind of surprised at just how easily you walked in here to come after your friend. The man sneered, ignoring the cat's statement. You practically walked right into my little trap. The cat swallowed as he tried to avoid the man's eye. Should he try to fight him? Could he somehow win and get Nettie out of here safely? But the man wasn't done yet. I am curious, though, the man mused, with a cold smile. After you and your other friends rescued that YouTuber, did you think that might have been what I wanted? What do you mean? The cat demanded, trying to sit up, only to get knocked down again by a rough kick from the man. The cat groaned as he fell back onto the wooden floor. After you escaped from me, I had to find a way to get to you again. After all, Mr. A was not so pleased to hear that you escaped under my watch, the man said to the cat, not sounding too happy about the fact. But then I realized that there was a way to get to you, especially when I found out just how close you were to your little friend. But why? What does Nettie have to do with any of this? The cat asked. His mind was racing for any way he could get out of this. But deep down he knew that he couldn't. He was trapped. He feared that if he tried anything, the man would hurt his friend. He couldn't have that, but what could he do? The man came even closer to the cat, so that he was looming over him. Stampy felt small and vulnerable. The memories of his imprisonment under the man resurfaced. He was cornered, unable to run from this man, unable to escape. He couldn't help Nettie, much less himself. This man was too strong, too powerful. It took him quite some time to find her, the man said, ignoring the cat's question. His dark eyes bore into the cat's, the cool fury beyond anything he had ever seen. But once I did, that could keep me from getting to her, even if we had to separate her from her friends to do it. And she did us a favor. That was her fault. She was scared, the cat said defensively. She didn't know what was going on. Who could blame her? It wouldn't have mattered anyway, the man said simply. But what I do have is you. And this time, you will be getting away from me. The cat shook his head slowly, not wanting to believe what the man was saying. But he couldn't do much about it anyway. He was too scared to run, too frightened by the man, and how much he had hurt him to do anything at all. He had lost. He'd failed. The man smiled coldly as he looked down at the cat. I despair in defeat. Now, I may be willing to offer her safety if you're willing to cooperate with me. I thought Mr. A wanted us dead, the cat replied bitterly. I can make arrangements, the man replied. She'll never be free. I'm sure Mr. A wouldn't mind my offer if you are willing to accept it. And how will I know if he'll keep it if you kill me? The cat asked. The man smiled wide. You wouldn't, because you would be dead. The cat shook his head slowly. I'm not going back with you. Not after what you did to me. So, you're scared of me? The man asked with a sneer. Why does it matter to you if I am or not? The cat snapped. But he soon regretted it when the man kicked him again. The cat cried out in pain as he tried to scramble away, looking for anything he could use to defend himself. But the room was empty. All he had was his overpowered sword. Did he have time to get it out, or would the man just stop him from doing so? I'm giving your friend a chance to live, cat, the man told him softly, but it sounded far rougher and colder than what he was used to. Are you willing to throw it away? She wouldn't be happy or free if I were to accept it. She would always be afraid of what would happen to her, or me, or any of her other friends. I'd rather die than see that happen to her. The man straightened and looked down at the cat, as if he wasn't surprised by the cat's words. Do you really think you'd be a hero if you did that, cat? Do you really want to risk losing everything and everyone you care about? You don't seem to care, the cat said simply. You are the one who betrayed us, who blamed me for what you did. You're the one who was willing to tear me down so that you could appear stronger, more powerful. Why shouldn't I be surprised if you threaten me or my friends? You'll be stopped one way or another. Are you sure about that, Cat? The man said coldly, bending down so that he was at the cat's level, looking at him straight in the eyes. Can anyone stop me from taking you and ensuring that you can't escape me again without risking your life? What if you're not a friend? Call her a little, because she is short. Excuse me. If either of you were rescued, would I not hesitate to eliminate the other? You wouldn't. The cat's in horror. If that's what it takes, then yes, I would, the man replied. And not even your friends will be able to stop me. The cat swallowed hard, knowing that this man was serious and capable of doing something like this. Even if his friends tried to outsmart them, the man would just keep coming. He could hurt or even kill one of his friends to prove a point. Nothing would stop him. He could protect anyone, not even his own friends. He hated how his tears stung in his eyes. That was weird. As he looked up at the man that had caused him so much fear and pain, so much torment and horror, he couldn't hide from him anymore. This man wouldn't stop until he was dead. There was no use in trying. Maybe it was better just to give up. So what do you choose, Cat? Will you come willingly, or will I have to force you into submission? The man asked. The cat opened his mouth to speak, but closed it again. He couldn't bring himself to speak. There was no other way. The man seemed to have one. The man reached out a hand and offering to help him to his feet. The cat hesitated, not trusting that the man wouldn't hurt him again. A moment of hesitation, the cat refused, causing the man to grab for him roughly, and the cat gasped in fear as the man tried to pull the cat to his feet. The man wrapped his arms tightly around the cat as the cat weakly struggled against him. The man smiled quietly, whispering into his ear. As he whispered into his ear, "This is the beginning of your end. And unfortunately for you, you will be living through it." Sure. Tears burned in his eyes as he fought them back, as the cat felt helpless to do anything against the man. The fear of losing everything loomed over him as he thought of all of his friends. What would become of them? Would they try to help him, or would he truly be alone? Like he feared. Suddenly, his thoughts were interrupted when arms grabbed the man and pulled him away from the cat. Stampy stumbled to the ground as he heard the man grunt and throw something to the ground. He heard a gasp of pain as the air was knocked out of his rescuer as the man extended a sword. The cat turned to see his sister on the floor, the man looking over him. Somehow she had managed to use the pickaxe and made her way out to help him. Do you really think that would be enough to save him, Bush Baby? The man snarled darkly. The cat shuddered as the Bush Baby's eyes widened. The man raised his iron blade, expecting it to make sure it was sharp before smiling. I appreciate the help. And the man swung the blade towards her as she screamed. The cat extended his own sword within moments and lunged at the man, setting his blade flying as he did so. "Leave her alone," the cat hissed, as he stood between his friend and the man, "or you'll regret it." "I said so," the man answered with a smirk. "How exactly are you going to stop me?" "You don't have the right to hurt my friends. It's one thing to do it to me, but it's an entirely different story to do it to one of my friends." Excuse me. The cat said with a new air of confidence. All the fear he'd felt before had dwindled down. Now he was fighting on common ground. The man smiled darkly as he looked at the cat, extending a small dagger as he did so. "You underestimated me, Cat. You don't realize how much pain really costs. You haven't seen the worst of what we can do, but you will soon. Not going anywhere with you," the cat said determinedly. "Even if it means losing your friend, because I have no problem doing that," the man said. "You will have to get through me first," the cat replied. You don't want to mess with me or my friends. We'll see about that, now won't we? The man sneered as he lunged for the cat. The cat dodged the blade and struck the man with his sword on his face. The man screamed as fire erupted and he fell back. Clutching the right side of his face, the fire extinguished as soon as it started. Very overpowered sword. Ouch. The shock on the man's face made the cat smile. You better leave us alone, not unless you want another taste of this. Afraid of your fire, the man snapped as he lunged again, knocking the sword out of the cat's paw. The cat yelped in surprise as the man tackled him, the dagger held to his throat. The cat could clearly see the burn that stretched from the man's face, from below his right eye to the bottom of his right cheek. It was a trickle of blood that was slowly falling, but the blisters proved that the blow would leave a scar. You'll regret this, cat, the man said, holding the blade to his throat firmly. You'll pay for what your kind has done. You'll get what you deserve, even if it's the last thing I do. Get off of him! The bushranger demanded as she pulled the man off the cat. The cat watched as the man turned on her. Nettie, no! The cat screamed in horror. Suddenly, an arrow whizzed towards them, striking the man's sword arm as he dropped the dagger. The bush baby scrambled away, fear and horror etched on her face. The man groaned as he rose to stand. Looking over at the doorway with a look of disgust and pain. The cat followed his gaze to see Martin standing at the doorway. An arrow knocked in a bow, aimed straight at the man. Why don't you leave my friends alone? The Youtuber said to the man with an angry tone. You take my friends from me, threaten to take their lives and everything from them, and don't think of what could happen because of it? What gives you the right to attack us like this? The man scowled darkly and shook his head, gripping his shoulder as he pulled out the arrow and tossed it aside. You'll never understand, YouTuber. You all deserve what's coming to you. Suddenly, the man pulled something out of his pocket and threw it at Martin. The YouTuber ducked instinctively as the man suddenly disappeared and reappeared behind him. What the? The YouTuber asked in astonishment. Don't you think we have other tricks up our sleeves? The man asked, looking straight at the cat as he said, You won't be able to keep me away for long. I'll come back, cat. And I'll find you and finish what I started. The cat swallowed, the words sinking in, the meaning dark and threatening. Would he ever be able to be safe? What would the man do next? What he saw was true. The man had a way to get wherever he wanted and at any time. That thought scared him more than anything else. Don't let him get away! I don't know what happened to me, but oh well. Nettie shouted when the man turned to run. Martin tore after him, now holding a sword tightly in its grip. But as the cat watched, he could still hear the man's words tormenting his mind. Resonating in his mind. Sorry, I read it wrong. Completely wrong. The fear was surfacing. His worst nightmares came true. He would never be rid of this man, so long as he lived. The man would do whatever it took to be rid of him. He had nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. He was vulnerable. He was stripped of all confidence. How would he live through each day knowing that both his friends, as well as himself, were at risk? The cat closed his eyes, trying to push the dark thoughts out of his mind. He was safe now. He had managed to stop Gerald from winning. Even though he didn't do it alone, he was grateful for the friends he had, who were willing to risk everything to help him. Yet, he wondered if it would ever even be worth it in the end. Stampy? Then he said in a soft whisper, coming over to sit next to him. Are you okay? I'm fine, the cat said shakily, knowing his sister could see right through his lie. Concern filled her expression as she pulled him into a hug. It's okay. We're all safe now. The cat managed a small smile. Somehow opened his eyes again. Shouldn't I be the one telling you that? She chuckled softly. You did more than I do. The cat swallowed and nodded. His mind still replayed what had happened to the last few minutes. Like a broken record. I almost lost you, he whispered quietly. Tears filled his eyes. Again, this time he let them fall. He was exhausted, relieved, and scared all at once. He hadn't been the one trapped behind the iron bar cell. An iron bar cell? What? I couldn't let that man hurt you, she told him honestly. He threatened to take everything from you. He threatened to use me to get you to you. Seeing you look so helpless, I just couldn't stand by and watch it happen. He smiled softly. You're far more a hero than I am. And yet, despite the fact that this was a trap, you managed to stop him. You did, she said. I honestly shouldn't have doubted you. You're smart and clever. You would have found a way to get me out. But everything almost went so wrong, the cat insisted. That man is crazy, she replied. Don't listen to him. He's wrong about everything. You know something he doesn't. You're a hero at heart. I got to see that today. I'm glad you came. I missed you, the cat said, looking away from her as she put a paw on his shoulder. And knowing that the man who had caused me so much pain had had you. I'm okay, see? She said, waiting until the cat looked at her before continuing. That man didn't hurt me, but he did hurt you. The cat swallowed and nodded, wiping tears out of his eyes. Yes, he did. You were brave in coming here, she said softly. You're not afraid to fight for what's right. You know it's sad. But you saw what he did, the cat said. He used an ender pearl. She can be used to get into the tightest of corners. You could use it to give to me or someone else I care about, and do whatever you wanted without anyone knowing until it was too late. The bush made a bitter bottom lip. It may be true, but you do have us, and we'll get through this. We have to. But I don't know how, the cat said, defeat clear in his voice. We'll find a way, Martin's voice replied from over by the doorway. The man walked over and knelt down so that he could look at the cat eye to eye. Your helpers and Sam surely know what they're up to against. Especially Sam. He won't let anything happen to you. We won't let them win. But you don't even know what's the whole story, the cat said. You don't know what that man has done to me. How much of a threat I am to some of those who are supposed to help us. How much I've suffered. The cat looked down at the floor and shook his head. Tell us, Eddie offered. Not here, the cat whispered. Not when your friends could still be in danger. Come on, then. Oh, excuse me. Come on, then, the man replied, offering a hand for the cat to take. Stampy took it and let the man help him to his feet. The three of them looked at each other before heading out of the doorway, Martin leading the way out of the underground hallway, hopefully as far away from this awful place as possible. Cat's way, he would destroy it, so he didn't have such a horrible place in his lovely world. Something that didn't belong there. His target was one thing, but these men had come to take everything from him. He felt helpless to stop them. His target. Would hit the target, it would just rebuild another castle over the destroyed remains. These guys, they just find another place. It doesn't matter how many times you destroy something. They're just going to rebuild until they're completely destroyed, defeated. Enough that they can't rise back up again. Chapter 19. Sam stood in front of the desk, where the trap door was hidden. The boy had been waiting for what felt like hours, eagerly anticipating the return of the others, who were at the moment still inside the small hallway that was part of the hidden passage. The boy couldn't help but wonder, what was going on down there? Was that supposed to be a question mark? Were his friends alright? He knew they would be able to handle themselves, but there were 3 YouTubers down there. Jackpot. Good luck. A jackpot for Mr. A if he ever got a hold of them. The boy tried to block the uneasy thoughts that threatened to tempt him. He knew what he needed to do, and he wasn't about to put his friends in danger if he could help it. He just hoped that things didn't go horribly wrong. Didn't go horribly wrong. Yeah. Didn't go horribly wrong. For them. His uneasiness only grew as he continued to wait. 5 minutes turned into 10. which then turned into an hour. Still, there was no sign of his friends, much less any sign that there were any men wandering around, which would normally be a good thing, since it meant the helpers had done their job, but the boy was starting to get impatient, wanting anything to happen. Sam looked around the room slowly, examining the windowless room, pebble by pebble. The door was closed tightly, and the boy would know if someone opened it. He wouldn't let anyone in or out without knowledge. At least not until he knew his friends were safe. The silence drew on as the boy waited. His mind started to wander as he debated whether or not he should go down the trapdoor to see if his friends were okay. Chances were they were just fine and that he had nothing to worry about, but there was always that one chance that something could go wrong, and he didn't want that to happen. Another hour seemed to pass as the boy grew nervous, but he stayed put, listening closely for any signs that his friends would be returning. After a long moment, the boy heard something under his feet, faint footsteps heading towards the trapdoor. It wasn't just one pair of footsteps. He heard 3. Partly relieved and partly unhinged, the boy turned towards the trapdoor, eagerly waiting for his friends to descend. A long moment passed as he heard someone climb the ladder and open the trapdoor. Martin climbed out, getting to his feet as he did so. The man looked around, surprised for a moment. Either it's really dark in here or it's really bright down there. The boy smiled. Or both can be true. The man chuckled. Yeah, perhaps you're right. Did it go well? The boy asked, wanting to get to the point. Technically, yes, the man said slowly. It was a trap. Gerald was waiting for a chance to attack, and he nearly won too. What? The boy asked in surprise. Is everyone okay? I'd say so. The man smiled weakly. But he really hit hard on Stampy back there. Really doesn't seem to like him. Of course he doesn't. The boy sighed, shaking his head. That man has done more harm than good. Whatever happened to him back there a week ago, I have a feeling that man is using it to his advantage, the man said. Stampy was really brave to go down there, knowing that the man could be waiting for him. Sam nodded. He wanted to help, and he did. Martin smiled and nodded, looking over to the trapdoor. It's okay to come out, you two. Now, you two. You two. The boy watched as someone else began climbing the ladder, getting out of the trapdoor as he did so. The boy realized it was a purple bush baby, her big brown eyes taking in the area, which she didn't seem to recognize. Hello, the boy said cheerfully, taking her out of her gaze. You must be Nettie? The bush baby smiled and nodded. I am, and you must be Sam? Yep, the boy said with a smile. Feels good to be out of there, doesn't it? Yeah, she admitted, it is. The boy noticed the uncertainty in her tone, but didn't push it as he turned to watch the cat climbed out of the trapdoor and got to his feet. Get to his feet, smiling at the boy with a small but sincere gesture. You're okay? The boy asked him. The cat nodded. Yeah, I'm fine, but I'll feel better once we're out of here. I agree. This place is enough of awful memories that I can do without. It can do without. The bush baby said matter-of-factly. Where to? Martin asked, asking the question that was on the boy's mind. We're better, the cat said simply. I have a feeling you guys need answers. One of which, the condition of your friends. Do you think you can reach them in time? Nettie asked nervously. Doesn't hurt to try, the boy told her. You never know. We might be able to find out sooner than you realize. But Gerald should have been the only one who knows about us, Nettie replied. Suddenly, the boy noticed a glimmer of the cat's eyes as he understanding hit. Perhaps not, but I think Sam has an idea we can go with. Well, if you're okay with it, so am I, Martin said. Then there's no time to delay, the cat replied, his confidence returning. I'm ready to prove that man wrong for once. He won't get a chance to hurt anyone else if I can help it. Sam smiled and nodded. I agree with you there, Stampy. Me too, Nettie said with a hopeful glance at the both of them. I really need answers. Same here, the other dude agreed. And without another word, the four of them walked out of the building without issue. No men threatened to stop them. No dangers lurked behind the trees. They were even joined with William and Phoebe, who both wore triumphant looks on their expressions. They had done it. They had rescued someone in need and would prove to the man who had caused this drama that they would keep fighting for those they cared about, for what was important. and no one would keep them from keeping their friends safe. Sam felt confident about that. Every time I drink water, I'm just burping. That's funny. Chapter 20. My mouth. For no reason. Stumpy followed his friends as they headed back to his home. A part of him felt grateful for all of those who were surrounding him. He couldn't help but smile as he saw the one thing that he knew was true. He had people who would do anything to help him. Those who would risk everything to ensure his safety, even to a default. Sam had saved him more than once. His helpers had been with him through the Target, and Mr. A, his man, and Gerald. And now his old friends, who had helped him even when they had no idea what was going on. But he wouldn't keep them in the dark. They needed to know just how dangerous those men were. Just how close he'd been to losing everything. Even his own life. He'd seen a part of him that truly had been afraid. But they needed to see it. They needed to know that he wasn't always the strongest one. But he definitely would fight for those he cared about. Even though he was surrounded by proof of the fact that Gerald's lies weren't true, the memory of those hours locked up with that man, the torture he'd endured when he was moments from death, when those who were supposed to protect him rejected him, resurfaced. He couldn't push them away, not after what Gerald had said, making his nightmare a reality. The cat closed his eyes, trying to block out the man's final words to him before he'd taken his chance to run. The words that had shaken him to the core. It had been words that he didn't want to hear, the words he feared would become true. He knew the man would do whatever it took to get to him, but how would that actually be? Part of him wasn't sure. That didn't really help matter, did he? Suddenly, he felt a gentle pressure on his shoulder, and he opened his eyes and looked over to see the boy staring up at him, concern and understanding on his face. "You want to talk about it?" Cat swallowed, not sure how to respond to this gesture that the boy offered. The offer the boy had given him. "You don't mind?" "I'm here to help you, even if it means listening," the boy said with a smile, looking at the others. Danny... Oh, excuse me. Nettie and Martin were talking amongst themselves in whispers, but it was good to see them together after days of separation and searching for each other. "I guess I still haven't recovered from what that man did to me a week ago, what he said to me. But to be honest, I still managed to stop him, but it's something I'm not sure I can handle," the cat said. "And what's that?" the boy asked, giving him his full, undivided attention as they continued walking. "He told me that he would do whatever it took to get to me, even when he used an underbowl to prove his point," the cat replied. When he saw the boy's confusion, the cat explained. "Do you know about the games like Underball and Goat Throw?" I actually had to look up Goat Throw because I forgot the name of it, so I had to make sure that was the right name, and it is. Don't worry. Checked. Hey, it's been a whole year since I wrote that part. Like I rewrote this little middle section a little bit. The boy nodded. "Yeah, I think so." The man smiled. "Those spirits are called ender pools." "Ah, okay," the boy said, recognition and understanding returning. "But how could Gerald get any of those?" "He could make one of Mr. A's men kill a bunch of Endermen. It's quite the task. Or he could have taken them from one of the games that have them. The latter seems more plausible," the boy said. "I could definitely see him going that route." Caswell nodded. "Do you think he would use them?" "I don't know. Maybe not right away, since he showed you that he had them, but that gives us more reason to be careful. You can't be anywhere alone." Cat nodded. "I understand, but it's not just me that we have to worry about. Sam followed his friend's gaze back to the other two YouTubers. The cat couldn't help but wonder whether or not the man might try to use his friends against him, or a different tactic. Part of him didn't want to see his friends be put in harm's way, but again, he wasn't sure if it was safe for them to return. I know you want the best for them, the boy replied at last, and I'll make sure everything is safe before sending them anywhere, but you have to trust us. The boy looked at his friend. If anything seems off, even a little bit, you need to say something. The cat nodded and smiled. I'm really glad you're on my side, Sam. It really means a lot to me. You need all the help you can get, the boy replied. We all want to make sure you're safe, even if it means putting our lives on the line. After all, it's not just Mr. A's men that I'm concerned about. Right, the cat said with a slow nod. I know what you mean, and I promise I will be more careful from now on. Sam smiled and just don't want to see you get hurt. Neither do I want to see that happen to you, the cat admitted. You could have a relatively peaceful life by not being part of this. You continue to help me, even when you don't have to. Couldn't you say the same for your helpers? The boy asked. The cat smiled wide and, Yes, I believe I could. The cat watched as the boy nodded as he looked forward. The cat realized that they were now approaching his house. He had also realized that he wasn't scared anymore. In fact, Gerald was the last thing on his mind as he wondered about the conversations he would have with his friends, answering their questions about the cause, Mr. A and his men, and anything else that they needed to know, because they needed to know what was going on, so they could be better prepared for it whenever they were at risk or in danger again, which he hoped wouldn't happen for a very long time. Or yet, never. But until then, they would be ready for anything and everything. Stumpy followed the boy into the house, as both William and Biddy went their own ways, fulfilling their obvious missions of returning them back safely, or it was just to give them personal space for him to reconnect with his old friends. Whatever the reason was, he was glad he was getting a chance to do something he never thought he would do. Could he do it? He followed the boy into his bedroom, and the boy headed to the room of no requirement, which kept its name to hide the fact that there was an communicator in the room. You sure he will be okay if I go to make a couple of calls? The boy asked before going up the relatively small room that felt more like an attic space than anything else, even though it wasn't truly an attic or the highest place in the house. That is true. Yeah, I think we'll be okay, the cat replied with a reassuring nod. Give me a shout if you need anything, the boy said, and the cat promised that he would before the boy disappeared through the painting, climbed the ladder to get to the room. The cat turned to find Eddie and Martin sitting on his bed, getting comfortable before looking his way. The cat smiled as he went over to his chest and pulled out a chair, putting it by the bed before sitting down in it. You think you're ready for this? Martin asked him. We don't really want to overwhelm you with questions. The cat chuckled. Don't worry, I'm sure I can handle it, but first, how about I start? Maybe I may be able to answer most of your questions that way. Sounds good to me, Eddie nodded. Do you have anything to eat? I don't think I've eaten since I was abducted. Here, the cat said, taking a loaf of bread and handing it to her. Beats what those men feed their prisoners. What do they feed them? She asked him, curiously. The cat smiled sadly and said, soup that's about a week old. Oh, she said with disgust, and the other two laughed. Glad I'm not having that then. Yeah, Martin agreed. But in all seriousness, what did happen to you since we last saw you? Not really, the cat replied. But what is important is that those men will do whatever it takes to get what they want. How did they find you? The cat Nettie asked quietly. Gerald found my world and made sure the cause wouldn't find it. It was before we knew he was a traitor, the cat said bitterly. The first time I saw one of Mr. A's men was when he was trying to get Sam in order to use him to get to his aunt. My helpers and I stopped him, but my world didn't seem so safe anymore. When those men attacked again, Sam was there. He stopped them from taking me, but I had to leave my world and go to a safe house where I met Gerald. The cat hesitated before continuing. talking about what the man had said and threatened to do to him, and how hard it was, but it wasn't even the beginning of it. Pretty soon, the cat added, I was the first to figure out what the man had done. Yet he'd planned to claim that I did it, that I was the traitor, not him, and it worked. After I was captured by Mr. A's men, I was taken to see Mr. A himself. Help did come, but not for me at first. Dan was rescued, and I was left behind to die. That's horrible, Nettie said, gasped in horror. Why would anyone do such a thing? I nodded. Luckily for me, Dan came back, but it was just him. Sam and his brother had gone a long distance to find me, and Sam eventually was the one who saved my life. Wow. No wonder you trust him so much, Martin said with amazement. The cat nodded, telling him about his recovery with his recovery with the boy before Sam went back home, told him about the continual copter sightings and his capture, how he had been forced to watch Mr. A and his brother Archie return from prison world, where they'd been trapped for months. He explained what had happened to him in his week of imprisonment with Gerald, and how he almost lost hope. He told him of his escape, and now he found Sam and came back to the lovely world. That's a lot of things to be going through, Edith said. The cat nodded in agreement, looking out of his balcony window. What about you guys? The cat said, desperate to get the attention off him. You never told me what happened to you. Only bits and pieces. The cat watched as the two glanced at each other, before Martin nodded and looked back at the cat. We were having a bonfire when the attack happened. Nettie had gone to get more wood when we were ambushed by men in black uniforms with blue stripes on their arms. We took immediate action and tried to fight them off when I heard Nettie calling for help in the woods. I went to go and find her, leaving the others behind to fight off the invasion, but when I found her being dragged away by one of those men towards the portal, Nettie put a paw on Nettie to his shoulder. He came after me. I did, the man replied with a sad small smile, but those men came after me. If Stampy and the others hadn't found me, the cat smiled. Sam may have found you, but it was Sherbert who sent him after you. The man smiled wide, and all that led to Nettie's rescue. I couldn't be any more grateful for you guys, the Wishbaber replied. I felt so scared and lost amongst those men. I did hear some things, but only what Gerald was willing to share. I'm glad that you're okay, Martin replied. I'm glad you're here, she said. Those men were terrifying. To think that they could have killed you? Hey, the man said softly, we're all safe now. We didn't do it alone. We did it together. I know, Nettie nodded, but what about our friends? What if those men come back to make a point to me or Stampy? They aren't messing around. I already know that they aren't, the cat told them. That's why Sam is trying to find someone who can help. Do you think you can? She asked softly. He's smart and full of surprises, the cat said. I have a feeling that he can do that and much more. I'll take your word for it, then, Martin said. Smile. Surely isn't what you expect for a boy his age. He's a good friend with a big heart, the cat said. He's a hero as well. What more could you want? You're a hero too, you know, he said with a smirk. Yeah, I know, the cat smiled. That's what friends are, I suppose, hidden heroes. The other two nodded in agreement before they began talking about something entirely different. Simply being together made the cat happy. He wouldn't have this moment any other way. He wanted it to last for as long as possible, because it was something worth fighting for. Chapter 21! Oh boy. You're gonna get a hint here in this chapter. So, get ready. Sam climbed up a ladder to where the communicator rested on a table. The boy walked over to it slowly, checking to make sure it hadn't been manipulated or hacked. Not that it would, but the boy wasn't taking any chances. He put in some coordinates, reassuring himself that this was a good enough reason to reach out to someone. Lives could be in jeopardy if he didn't do something. Excuse me. That was enough for him to send a signal, travel where it needed to go. Soon, he could hear a voice crackling through the speakers. "Hello? Who's this?" "Sam," the boy replied. "I have some important things to tell you, Dan. I think you can help." "Is everything all right?" the editor asked. "Step is okay. He's safe," the boy assured him, "but we found a couple of friends here who are concerned for those back in their world." So?" Dan asked curiously. Yep," the boy nodded. "One of them had been taken here by force a couple of days ago. The other one went after her and tried to stop those men." "Did Gerald have any part of it?" the editor asked. "You bet he did," the boy replied. "He's trying to get to Stampy. I'm just glad that didn't happen." "Me too," the editor replied, "but I do think I can help you." "You can?" the boy asked, not even trying to hide his excitement. "A couple of days ago, I heard word from someone that two of their friends had gone missing after an attack by Mr. A's men. But I want to make sure first. Could you give me a few minutes to get back to you?" "Take all the time you need, Dan," the boy said. "I can wait." "Excellent. See you in a bit, then," the YouTuber said cheerfully before cutting off the connection. The boy stepped back from the device, his mind swirling with question. This couldn't be a good coincidence, could it? He wasn't imagining this, was he? He knew it would be harder to reach them if he didn't have a communicator, but could it be this easy to locate them? His mind was swirling with questions that didn't have answers, but he had a feeling that this was no coincidence. One of their friends could have been a part of the cause without the others knowing it. Maybe Gerald didn't have so many new worlds, but worlds that other YouTubers were hiding to protect their friends. That's possible. And if Gerald found those worlds and had reason to go after them, would he? Especially if it meant getting to one of his Stampy's friends. He had a feeling that if the man had a chance, he would do whatever it took to get to the cat. The boy let out a sigh, but before he could get another concrete thought, he was interrupted by the sound of someone climbing up the ladder behind him. Curious, the boy turned around as he watched Nettie climb into the room and get to her feet. When she caught him watching her, she smiled at him cheerfully. "So what brings you here?" the boy asked. The bush baby walked over to him and looked at the communicator before looking back in his direction. "I wanted to see how things were going up here," she said with a shrug. "Besides, I want to know how my friends are doing, rather than simply talking to pass time." "I can understand that," the boy said with a smile. "But to be honest with you, I think I'm getting close." "Really?" she said with surprise. "What did you find?" "Well, I got in touch with Dan a few minutes ago. He told me that he'd heard someone had called to report that two of his friends had gone missing not too long after they were attacked." I said, Nettie gasped in astonishment. "Do you think?" Dan's making sure," the boy replied, "but it does seem to be a pretty bizarre coincidence." "You could say that again," she said with a smile. "But he didn't report anyone being hurt or..." "Not that I'm aware of," the boy replied. "Okay," she said with a nod. "So how soon are you expecting to hear back from him?" "Probably in a few minutes," the boy said thoughtfully. The bush baby let out a long sigh. "I just want to know that everyone's okay, you know. From what I heard from Martin, it happened all of a sudden. He left to go after me when he heard me calling for help, but other than that, none of us know what became of our friends." "Well, I think we'll know that soon," the boy replied. She nodded. "I really hope so." The boy agreed, looking back over to the communicator as the moment passed. Then another and another. Felt like forever before there was a connection. But the voice that came out wasn't Dan's. "Hello, is anyone there?" voice called, and the boy heard a sharp gasp in Nettie's direction. That was a safe sign that she knew it was. And so did he. "Yeah, I'm here, Tony," the boy replied. "So I'm surprised to hear from you." "Yeah, Dan had an emergency call that he needed to attend to, so he asked me to call you instead," the man replied. "I hope everything's all right," the boy said. "Dan has it under control, don't worry," the man replied, "but by the sound of it, you found my friends." Sam gave Nettie a glance for nothing. "Yeah, though we didn't really get much warning. Sorry about that, but I had no way of letting you know, but They seem to have handled it well, Tony mused. But how did you find out about it? I thought you were... The boy hesitated before he said, busy. Casimir chuckled. One of my friends came to tell me what happened. Apparently, he had some trouble because the others were afraid he might go missing too. But they're all safe, I can tell you that. The boy heard the bushbaby let out a sigh of relief, but the boy wasn't done yet. Have you considered security measures in case something like this happens again? I've made sure of that, though. It might take a couple of days before someone can come to pick our friends up, the man replied. But those men shouldn't be able to get what they want. I'm sure that. That's good, the boy replied. Thanks for letting us know. No problem, the man said. Though I'd be careful. Some men from people where I was didn't appreciate my friend coming to see me, much less how it could be connected to Stampy. It did, the boy said. How dangerous would you say it is? It's not horrible, but I would still be careful, the YouTuber said. We will be careful, don't worry, the boy assured him. And I'll hear from you soon, Tony said. Bye. Bye, the boy said as they disconnected. He looked over at Nettie, who looked both relieved and happy. Looks like we got some good news after all. I'm glad, really glad, she said with a sigh. But relief quickly turned to curiosity. How do you know him? Tony works at the school I was at, the boy replied, but I have a feeling you know him by a different name. Yeah, she said. But why did you hide it? I had to keep those things secret when it comes to the communicator for safety reasons, to make sure that no one was listening in. That could happen? She said in surprise. That's why we always have to be careful about everything. Otherwise it might threaten our safety and that or that of our friends. Oh, she said, lowering her head sheepishly. I guess that's how the men knew I was Stampy's sister. I talked about him a lot with other people. Not because I missed him. It's okay, the boy said. Even if you hadn't said it, they would have figured it out. They have their ways of doing that. I'm just glad they didn't get rid of you when they could have. She swallowed and nodded. I'm grateful they didn't. It was already as terrifying as it was. Yeah, the boy nodded. How about we go downstairs and find out? Yes, she said with a smile. I know they'll both be relieved to know that everyone is all right. I'm sure they would, the boy said. As they headed down the ladder, the boy letting his new friend go first. His smile was still fixed on his face as he realized that Gerald had won. He wouldn't be able to hurt anyone else without getting into trouble. Hopefully, he would soon be unable to hurt his friend or anyone else because he would be locked away. At least, that was his hope. But knowing that his friends were safe was enough for him to keep going. The day had finally passed, and the boy climbed into one of the beds. Oh no. One of the beds. Oopsie. In the guest room. He wasn't spending the night alone now. In fact, Nettie and Martin were spending the night in the room as well. The boy laid back against his pillow as he looked up at the ceiling. He couldn't help but think about what had happened throughout the day. They had rescued Martin, found Nettie, and gotten her out of the Gerald's clutches, and even reassured that their friends would be able to return home when the time came. But till then, he would be enjoying the company of his two YouTubers. Two YouTubers. Wow. He never imagined he would meet. His life had changed when he first learned YouTubers, but he realized it never really took off until he met Stampy. The boy's mind wandered as he thought about everything so far. He really hadn't been surprised when he discovered that Nettie wasn't exactly who he was expecting her to be. But that didn't mean he was disappointed. It just made different YouTubers a little bit different. And he was okay with that. Oh boy. But as he lay there, simply listening to the soft sounds of breathing, he could feel himself drifting off. But there was also something else that felt different. As he lay there, he heard movement. The boy didn't move as someone climbed out of bed, clearly trying to be quiet as possible so as to not wake anyone, and headed out the door. The boy noticed the person was Nettie. She quietly snuck out of the door, closing it behind her. The boy wondered why she was still up, but he had a feeling he should go to see if she was okay. The boy pulled back the covers and climbed out of bed, seeing Martin fast asleep in the bed beside him. The boy smiled as he went over to the door and walked out, following the bush baby down the stairs and towards the door to where the love garden was. The boy entered the crafting room. The door was open, and the bush baby was sitting quietly on the stairs, looking up at the stars. The boy watched her for a moment before deciding to walk over to her. "Do you mind if I join you?" the boy asked as he walked over to the bush baby. "No, of course not," she replied, glancing over in his direction as he sat down beside her. Her gaze was followed back to the stars above, which were gently twinkling in the night sky. "Were you having trouble sleeping?" the boy asked the bush baby curiously. "A little," she admitted. "It's hard to imagine how so much can change in a moment." I remember looking up at the sky like this one, thinking how beautiful it was. Only a few moments later, I was being dragged away from it all. "How long have you known that the men were watching you?" the boy asked. "That long. First I thought it was just my imagination. But there were some close calls. The others certainly knew something with that, but we didn't really worry about it as much as we should have." "You don't have to worry about those men anytime soon, hopefully," the boy said. "I know," she said, "but there was a time when I didn't even know if I would see the night sky again." "That why you came out here?" the boy asked. "Partly," she said. "It's hard to sleep when you don't know what could come next." "I guess it can be," the boy replied. "But I try not to worry about it so much, because I know that no matter what happens, we'll get through it." "So what about Stampy?" she asked. "Part of me is excited to go home and see my friends again, but I don't want Stampy to fight this alone." "He's not alone. He's not doing it alone," the boy reminded her. "He has friends here who will risk everything to ensure he's safe." "I know that," she replied. Bush Baby replied, "but the thought that he could be in danger and I can't help him terrifies me. I don't want to see him get hurt by those men, especially not Gerald or Mr. A." The boy nodded, thinking for a long moment. All of a sudden, realization hit him. "There should be a communicator being set up in your world, right?" the boy asked her. "I don't see why it shouldn't," she said with a shrug, not seeing what the boy was getting at. The boy smiled. "I know there will be times when we might need more help. Being able to get in touch with someone who can help is good." Her eyes shone with understanding. "You'd really do that? Stevie won't mind?" "I'm sure he won't," the boy said. "Besides, I know I can trust you. You care about him far more than anyone else. You aren't like those in the cause who would believe such a petty rumor. You know the truth, and you're willing to protect it." She nodded. "You are right. I'm glad you trust me, even though you hardly know me. Stampy knows you, and that's enough for me, but besides, I understand what it feels like to be worried about a friend and afraid that something might happen and you wouldn't be able to stop it." She nodded. "I'm glad you've been helping him. He wouldn't be where he is now if it weren't for you." The boy smiled. "I know. But this is only the beginning. Someday those men will be stopped, and the YouTubers will be able to live freely and happily without fear of someone threatening to take everything from them." "I'm looking forward to it," she said matter-of-factly. "Lots of people are," the boy agreed. He sat there for a long while, like hours, staring at the stars in silence. Suddenly, he caught Nettie stifling a yawn in the boy's mouth. "I think it's time for the both of us to go to bed." "Are you sure it's safe?" she asked. Sam nodded. "Barnaby is spending the night with Stampy. If anything goes wrong, he'll let us know. But I have confidence that everything should be fine." "Okay," she said, getting to her feet. The boy followed her back into the house and towards the guest room. But as he began to follow her up the stairs, he noticed some movement in the guest room. The boy went over to get a closer look to find Barnaby lying down on his dog bed, closing his eyes. The boy didn't know better. He knew that the dog had been watching them. "Good night, Barnaby," the boy whispered. catching a glimpse of the cat who was sleeping peacefully in his bed. He walked away from the door, climbed to the stairs, knowing that this would be another peaceful night for all of them. Should I say something before starting this chapter, or should I not? Because I feel like I should say something, because this one's a fun one. I mean, this one is a fun one. Something is bound to happen. Yeah. Chapter 20 here. Oh, yes. This is probably one of the best introductions so far that I've written. So far. One of the best, actually. It's not the best, because there might be one that's even better. I can't really judge. Okay. We good? Chapter 22. Stumpy woke up the next feeling what the moment? What's the moment? Stumpy woke up the next morning feeling refreshed and ready for what lay ahead. The cat climbed out of his bed and stretched, looking around the familiar room as he pondered about what they would be doing that day. There was still the build they still needed to complete, but he really didn't feel like doing that since his friends were here. The cat swallowed as he remembered what had happened the day before. Sam had found and helped Martin, and they went to rescue Nettie, while running into Gerald, who clearly still tried to make him feel small and weak, vulnerable. The cat let out a long sigh, reminding himself that the man would not be able to get to him that easily, even with intervals. He had friends who would stick by his side no matter what. Gerald couldn't hurt him anymore. He wasn't his prisoner, wasn't at the man's mercy anymore. And that enough should have been reassuring, and it almost was. I walked over to his balcony, opening the door to welcome the morning outside. Certainly beautiful. He was glad to be able to see it. The cat walked to the edge of his balcony and looked out into the world around him. All the thoughts of fear and uncertainty melting away as the gentle breeze washed over him. The cat took a deep breath, his mind forming an idea he hadn't done in a while. This is gonna be fun. The cat heard a short but firm bark behind him, and the cat looked over to see Barnaby at his side, his tail wagging in excitement. Certainly is a wonderful day to play some games. Wouldn't you agree, boy? The cat replied to the dog. Barnaby barked in agreement, and the cat laughed. I don't know why I made that sound. Wow. They said there. Ugh. Excuse me. They stood there on the balcony for a long moment before the cat decided to go back into his room. After all, it was about time he would have some breakfast. He turned to go to his room when he realized that he wasn't alone. Standing outside the door were three figures who were looking in. The cat smiled at his friends, beckoning them to come in. As Sam, Martin, and Nettie came into the bedroom, the cat turned to his cake. It was perfect. Probably one of the best cakes he'd ever had. So, what are we going to be doing today? The boy asked, after the cat licked the remaining frosting off his fingers. The cat swallowed and cleared his throat before answering. I was thinking that we could spend the entire day playing minigames. That sounds like a lot of fun, Nettie said brightly. Her smile matched the excitement in her eyes. Weren't you working on a bill yesterday? Martin asked with uncertainty. Yeah, but I feel like we need to have some fun before worrying about that, the cat said. It'll certainly throw off any attempts on an attack, since Mr. A's men usually use my traditional routines against me. That makes sense, the boy said, nodding his head. So how are we going to get there exactly? Tree train? Teleporter? To be honest, I want to try something new, the cat replied. Well, more like something that I want to experiment on. Oh dear. And what is that? What's that? Martin replied with curiosity. Tongue twisters. It's not even a tongue twister. Whether or not the teleporter is actually faster than walking, the cat replied. Last time that happened, things didn't go well for me. Are you sure you want to risk that again? And he asked with uncertainty. And the target did hijack it before, remember? I've made sure that can't happen again. The cat assured her. Besides, unlike last time, I'm not going alone. Sam smiled and nodded. So, who do you want to go with you? The cat hesitated, pausing for a moment to think about his options. Before he could speak, he heard what sounded like glass breaking. The cat looked over to the balcony window, seeing William standing there on the balcony. Clearly, he had been watching him. You nearly scared me there, William. The cat said with a smile. Would you like to join us? The beaver nodded, stepping into the room with a serious expression. Oh, William. They stood there for a long moment before the cat spoke up. I decided I'll take Nettie and William with me. That way I'll be able to be certain that nothing will happen. Martin and Sam will meet us by the tree train entrance in the Funland. You two can decide whether to run or take the tree train. That doesn't matter anyway. Martin used a smile. Cat chuckled. Just be careful, okay? We will if you will, the boy said matter-of-factly. Cat smiled. Then the race begins. Now. Both Martin and Sam tore out of the bedroom, while the others watched him go. The cat looked over his remaining friends. You guys sure this is a good idea? The pushy baby asked. Unlike last time, I'm not alone, the boy cat mused. Besides, the teleporter can't be manipulated without my knowledge. Trust me, nothing has gone wrong since the target hijacked it. Okay, the bush baby replied, reassured by the cat's confidence. She smiled at them and said, then we best make sure that the others don't win. The cat agreed with a laugh, and they walked out of the room and headed to the cat's secret base. It didn't take long before they were inside the base and standing in front of the teleporter. Do you want to go first, Nitty? The cat asked. Sure, she said with a shrug, and stepped into the device. See you on the other side. She closed the door, and the cat heard the machine whir to life as it teleported his sister to the Funland. The door automatically opened as soon as the machine completed its job, and the cat looked over at William. He'll be right behind us, right? The cat asked the beaver. William nodded, and the cat knew that his friend would do that. The cat stepped into the orange and white machine, bidding his friend a momentary farewell as he pulled the lever and the door closed. The cat pressed a button, and the machine instantly came to life again. The cat closed his eyes, the room began to spin, and he felt a little queasy, a side effect that the teleporter had. As soon as the spinning started, it stopped, and the cat caught himself against the wall, feeling momentarily lightheaded. He took a slow, deep breath as he opened the door. Something outside. But before he could react, someone grabbed him from behind and covered his mouth to prevent him from crying out. Quick, destroy the buttons! A voice hissed from behind him as the man went into the teleporter and broke the controls. The man wore simple clothes, his dark eyes cold and triumphant when he finished his task. Come on, we don't have much time, the cat's captor said quickly, and the cat was dragged backward. What was going on? Who were these men? Where was Nettie? What had he done to her? The cat struggled desperately against his captor, but it was no use. The man had a firm grip. He watched as they rounded a corner, the teleporter disappearing from view. This was when the cat realized that William would be able to get to them. Not in time. But before the cat could think further about that, he was shoved to the ground and he was surrounded by 4 or 5 other men. The cat looked around frantically, managing to sit up. But he didn't take long before he spotted his friend. The cat could see his sister pinned against the wall of one of the games by 2 men. Her eyes were wide with fear and uncertainty, but the cat couldn't understand why. Well, isn't this a sight to see? An oddly familiar voice said from in front of him. The Cat looked up as someone kicked him back to the ground, but he had seen the man's face before. He knew that face. "What do you want?" the cat asked, his heart racing as he thought of all the reasons why this man would hear. "How did you get into my world?" "I snuck in when there was no one looking," the man sneered. "Brought back up to ensure you get what you deserve, traitor." "But I'm not," the cat started before crying out in pain as the man kicked him again. "You can't fool us this time, cat," the man said, moving over the cat. His shadowed face looked menacing. Far more than it had last time he'd seen it. "You'll get what you deserve for hurting innocent people." "But I didn't," the cat tried. But was kicked again for his efforts. The cat groaned as he heard some of the men silently mocking and laughing at him. He could only think of the pain, the fear coursing through his body. "Leave him alone!" Nanny cried as the cat was kicked several times by the different men. "Please stop!" "Hush now, Bush baby," the man said, glancing in her direction before gazing at the cat. His gray eyes were dull and stormy. "He's only getting what he asked for." "But he hasn't done anything wrong," she insisted. "I'm sure he told you that, didn't he?" the man mused as he looked over at her. The fear in her eyes had turned into anger and desperation, but he didn't seem to care. "You don't realize that he's been lying to you all this time, do you? Such a pity, to be fair. That's why I want to ensure no one can be influenced by his lies. To get the honor of watching his finally dealt with." The cat watched as the man extended an iron sword, stepping closer to the cat. His eyes widened in fear as he could hear his sister begging the man to spare him, but the cat knew better. The man had nearly killed him back at school. Now he was here to finish it. The cat could do nothing about it. "Please," the cat pleaded one more time, feeling his whole body shaking in fear and terror. He watched in horror as the man rose the blade over his head, preparing to swing. "This is what you deserve, cat," the man said with a cold smile. "You should have died back there with your leader, who clearly sees you as a worthless weedo. You're nothing to us, cat. Nothing." "No," the cat said in a soft whisper, shaking his head slowly. He felt small and insignificant. Nothing more than a traitor to those who were supposed to be his allies. And then another sip of water. More like gulps, but... Cat watched as the sword fell down towards him as he screamed, closing his eyes, preparing for a fatal blow. He could hear his heart pounding in his ears as he waited for the blow, but it didn't come. The cat took slow breaths as he shuddered. He'd opened his eyes to find out what had happened. Had Mr. A's men found him? Had the target? Or something much worse? "Stampy!" the familiar voice cried in what sounded like fear as he felt arms surrounding him. He could hear what sounded like crying as he opened his eyes and found his sister kneeling over him. "Eddie?" the cat asked, stunned as to what happened. "Thank goodness you're okay," she sobbed in relief, wrapping him in a tight hug. The cat returned, not sure what else to do but let it happen. "What happened?" the cat asked. He sat there stunned, looking around him to see a few unconscious men around them. Daddy pulled away from him, wiping tears from her eyes with a slow smile. "You're not going to believe it." "Try me," the cat said. He was ready for just about anything by now. The bush baby swallowed and looked into the distance as if she was waiting for something. What? Had William come to help them? Had the others figured it out and gone to them in time? Suddenly, he saw two figures coming in their direction. He didn't know who they were at first. As they approached, he recognized them. Cat whined in disbelief as he scrambled to his feet. "No way. You're not seeing things, Stampy," she told him. Nettie told him, smile growing. "And it couldn't have come in a better time." Cat nodded as he stumbled towards the figures, who were a blue squid and a yellow duckling with big, expressive blue eyes. They had turned from a fast walk to a run. "Squid! Squishy!" the cat cried as he struggled to meet them. "You seem pretty happy to see us," Squid said with a amused smile. His dark eyes were full of relief. "You aren't hurt, are you?" Squishy asked. The cat stood before them and spread his arms out. Take a look. Does it look like I am? Duckling smiled and nodded. You haven't changed one bit, Stampy. The cat grinned and looked over at his sister, who had managed to catch up to them. Did you get away? She asked with a little bit of uncertainty. Yeah, Squid said with disappointment. Most of them scattered when we caught them by surprise. We thought we could do more. Squishy replied. It's okay, the guy replied. You did what you could. Besides, you two just saved my life. Squid agreed and he nodded. Yeah, that we did. What did you do to get them after you? Going after you? Squishy asked. He shrugged his sides. I did nothing, but they thought I did because of a rumor that nearly cost my life. Once twice before now. Yeah, Nettie nodded. Tony did warn us that something might happen, but due to all the chaos and reunions, I might have forgotten to mention it. Don't take it personally, the cat told her. Honestly, I should have seen it coming. The bush baby nodded, and the cat looked back at the other men. They aren't dead, are they? No, they aren't, Squid said. I wasn't sure whether or not you wanted them alive. I could probably finish them all if you wanted. No, it's okay, the cat said quickly. They don't realize what they know is to lie. It's not their fault. Squid nodded, looking of understanding and disappointment in their expression. But before either friends could say something, Nettie asked, So, what brings you two here? We thought we would drop by, Squishy said matter-of-factly, to see how you were doing. And by the looks of it, you could use some help. We definitely could use it, the cat said honestly. Those guys aren't the only ones out there that want to get to me. What do you mean? The duckling asked curiously. How about I tell you guys on the way? The cat suggested. We need to meet up with some friends who should be concerned about our whereabouts. Fair enough, Squid replied as they began walking. But expect a lot of questions. The cat laughed as they walked down the path. I'm counting on it. The cheery mood soon dropped slightly as the cat took his time filling in everything to his friends and answering their questions, but it was worth it, because right then he didn't really feel alone. He had his friends with him now. Friends he had known for most of his life, and he knew they would be able to help him, no matter what happened. Yeah, I went with the yellow duckling because, it's more iconic. More iconic. Tweety-twee. Sam climbed up the ladder that led down to the tree train, eager to get outside and see whether or not they had gotten there first. The boy climbed out of the melon tree and stepped back so Martin could get out as well. The boy looked around at his surroundings, realizing it was pretty quiet, but there were no signs of the others. I think we managed to beat them, the boy said with a chuckle. Either that or they're hiding behind the melon tree, the man replied. That is something they would probably do. Sam nodded, trying to see if there was anyone hiding behind the large tree, but a few minutes, it seemed pretty obvious. No, I think we did beat them. Huh, Egypt said. Certainly wasn't expecting that. Yeah, me neither, the boy pondered. Maybe they got lost? But chuckled. This is a pretty big place. The boy nodded, not saying anything, but deep down he knew that it would be very difficult for Stampy to get lost in his own world. After all, he had built the town in Funland. He knew his way around better than anyone. How about we give them 5 more minutes before we look for them? Martin suggested, seeing the uncertainty in the boy's expression. Sounds good to me, the boy replied. They stood there as a minute passed, then another and another. As he waited, the boy felt more and more nervous. Had something gone wrong? Had the fence been delayed or trapped? Had the teleporter not worked? There were so many possibilities. The boy wasn't sure which were possible. But as the final minutes passed, Martin stood straighter as he pointed off to the distance. I think I can see them approaching. Let's go see what took them so long, the boy replied in relief as they walked down the stone brick path towards a figure that was running towards them. The boy realized that the figure was alone. After he got closer, he recognized who it was. William? The boy asked in concern as they caught up with the beaver, who was panting as hard as if he'd run a marathon. What happened? Where are the others? The beaver shook his head, looking at the two of them as he returned to normal. A look of frustration and panic in his expression. Feeling they must have gotten separated, Martin said grimly. William nodded slowly, confirming the YouTuber's statement. Sam smiled. How could that be possible? Stimpy said it couldn't be hijacked. I don't think it was, Martin said, shaking his head. Someone must have broken the machine after the two of them went through. Oh, the boy said with a shock. With shock. It would make so much sense why William would take so long to get here. He probably had to teleport a farther distance away to find them. We need to find them and fast. I just hope it's not too late, Martin said quietly. Well, we all don't want that, the boy said. Especially if they're in danger. Martin nodded as the three of them ran to the direction from which the nearest teleporter was. It made sense that they would have taken the fastest route, but they ran. The boy's mind continued to bring up ideas that he didn't want to see. What happened to their friends? Who was behind this? Gerald? Or did he act so soon after an attempt to get to Stampy? Or did it have to do with the rumors that the men spread about his friend? Suddenly he remembered the warning that Tony had given them shortly before they had finished the call. Things weren't going well at the cause concerning Stampy. Some people hadn't liked the idea of the supposed traitor coming to the school. Plus, when the boy had found his friend, Stampy was only moments away from being murdered by one of those men that had wanted him dead for the crimes he hadn't committed. The boy swallowed when he recalled those earlier events, a shiver running up and down his spine. That couldn't be possible, could it? Was it supposed to be far more difficult for people like them to get to his friend? How had they learned of their location? All of these thoughts and questions haunted him as he ran. He was just afraid for his friends. What could happen due to this attack? You okay? Martin asked the boy, bringing him out of his downward spiral of thought. To be honest with you, the boy said, I don't know. We'll figure this out, Martin replied with encouragement. We can still stop whatever is going on. You really think we can? The boy asked with uncertainty. I think you out of all of us have proven that we can do the impossible. To put many means in his mouth. Yeah, Sam said, pondering quietly, reflecting on what the man said. He was right after all. But I didn't do it alone. True, but you still did it, the YouTuber said. Then he added with a chuckle. And again, you did save my life by yourself. I think you could have handled those men, even if the others hadn't showed up. The boy smiled and nodded. I'm sure you're right. It felt like an eternity before they came to the teleporter. Sure enough, when they expected it, it had been damaged. The buttons had been removed, preventing it from being used. Where do you think they took them? The boy asked, after a long moment of uneasy silence. They could have been taken anywhere in the world. Martin swallowed, shaking his head. Your guess is as good as mine, but that doesn't mean we can't just give up. Sam nodded, a new force of confidence filling through him. He was scared for his friends, not knowing what the extent of danger they were facing, but he had made a promise to his friend, and he wouldn't stop until his friend was safe. Suddenly the boy noticed William standing upright, looking to their left. His face was full of surprise, relief. The other two looked. They could see 4 figures approaching them. Cat, bush baby, duckling, and squid. Sophie! Nettie! The boy shouted in relief, and he ran over to meet them, closing the gap quickly as the other two followed right behind them. Him. Whee! Are you kidding me? I can't quite see it in this angle. Him. The boy caught up to them, and the boy could see a relieved smile on the cat's face. The boy surprised him with a hug, happy to know his friend was safe and unharmed. What happened to you? The boy demanded after pulling away from his friend, because to see Nettie and Martin reunited was again. Glad to know they were both okay. Well, it's a long story, the cat replied sheepishly, glancing over at the other two. What was him? Kinda ran into some trouble. And not the Mr. A kind. Oh, the boy said. But you're okay? Yes. Thanks to my two friends here. The cat smiled. Sam, these are my two friends, Squid and Squishy. They're really good friends that wanted to reconnect and had a chance to make quite the dramatic entry. Yeah, the duckling chuckled. No one gets away with hurting our friends, Squid replied in a nod. I'm just glad you two were able to help, the boy said sincerely. No problem, Squishy replied with a smile as the boy turned back to the cat, grinning. That being said, Martin added, cutting into the conversation, we clearly have a problem if those men are still running around. Should we tell the cause about it? Nettie asked. Uh-oh. Aren't they the ones who staged that attack? Squid asked skeptically. Not everyone in the cause thinks Stampy is a traitor, the boy informed him. I know people I can trust that can figure something out. The boy watched as Squid looked over at the cat, as if to get information. The boy didn't blame him for his overprotectiveness. After all, he just wanted to make sure that Stampy was safe. As all friends would. Especially if they heard, crazy stuff happening. Yeah, like all friends would. The boy's right, the cat replied. I know some of the people who don't believe in those lies. People I know you can trust. Alright then, the YouTuber said. Let's just hope this plan doesn't backfire on us. We can have a backup plan, the boy said, in case this doesn't work. Squid managed to smile. Very well. We should probably get someplace safer to plan this, Martin said nervously. This is far too public to my liking. I think my place would sit fine, Squid said matter-of-factly. The cat winced as if reluctant to share what came next. That might be a problem. What do you mean? Squid asked with surprise. It's kind of gamble to play a satellite to hit the target build, the cat said weakly. Oh. The YouTuber said, a part of a hint of anger in his voice. Well, it looks like that's out of the question. Guess you could build a base should be fine, Squid suggested the cat. Alright, the cat nodded. So, I think we might have to go the long way since teleporter is not usable at this time. Good luck fixing that thing, Martin told him. Those men might have broken more than a few buttons by accident. I won't worry about that now, the cat told him. Ha ha ha. We have a far more important thing to deal with first. Everyone else agreed as they began walking back to the direction of the town. The unknown seemed pretty big due to the fact that they had more than one set of people to worry about, neither of which they had any idea of what plans were coming next. But the boy knew that if they work together, they would be able to ensure that none of their enemies could get what they wanted. I should probably stop very soon, because if we're going to 36 chapters, I don't want to have, short amount of, it doesn't matter, but stopping very soon, probably after maybe this one or the next one. Because then we'd have, about 10 to 11 chapters to finish. Yeah. We'll find a good spot to stop. And then, we'll wait until next week, because I'm not streaming on Saturday. So don't want to stream on Saturday. But just so you know, there is a cool video coming out on my second channel where I mash up the Frozen songs from Frozen 1 and 2. And that'll be fun. And anyway, that'll be coming up. I'll definitely post that on Twitter. So keep an eye out. But anyway, chapter 24. The day came and went, and before long, the cat was waking up in his bedroom, partly excited about the day ahead, and sad, realizing that it was the day he would be saying goodbye to his sister and friend. For the time being, anyway. He still couldn't believe that some of his old friends, very good friends as well, came to visit him. Not only that, but they wanted to help him with all the YouTuber business and trainer not trainer drama that had been going on lately. It's a very short way of saying that. The cat climbed out of bed as he heard faint footsteps climbing down the stairs that led up to the guest room, and the music tower from which Fizzy took precedence. The cat turned to see its door open as Squid, Squishy, Nettie, Martin, and Sam entered the room. Wow, it's pretty crowded in here, the kid noted with surprise. Yeah, Squid said with a shrug. At least the guest room couldn't have been any more crowded than it already was. The kid chuckled. Sorry about that. Don't sweat it, Martin said cheerily. Some of us will be off soon enough. Cat swallowed and nodded. So we're going to the portal first? Unless you wanted to go ahead and wait for you guys, Squishy suggested. You sure that's a good idea? Squid asked with uncertainty. If we need help, we'll let you know, the boy replied, looking confident. Okay, Squid nodded, not sounding entirely convinced. Just be careful, Squishy said in a cheerful tone. See you in a bit. You too. The cat waved as the duckling dragged the reluctant Squid out of the room. The cat looked back at his three other friends and smiled. Guys ready for this? As ready as we'll ever be, Nettie admitted. The cat looked over to at the other two, who nodded in agreement. I remembered what happens in the next couple of chapters. Reluctant pause. Let's get this over with, Martin sighed as they walked out of the cat's bedroom after he had his quick breakfast. Steffi understood what the YouTuber had meant with those words, since after all he had been there, but the thought of seeing his two friends off to return to where they belonged saddened him. Yet he knew it was the right thing to do. It felt like time was going to by painstakingly slowly, but they soon arrived at a small clump of trees where the portal was hidden. They entered the gathering trees, and the cat looked over to see his sister was standing alone. Her expression was that of recognition. The cat walked over to her, and as Martin and Sam examined the portal, as if to make sure the coordinates were correct. You've been here before? Yeah, she nodded quietly. Those men took me here before going underground. The cat noticed her shudder as he asked, is it an underground tunnel? Yep. How do you think Gerald managed to escape? She said simply. She pointed over to a small bush. There's a hidden trapdoor under those branches. Right, the cat said. That would explain how she hadn't known where she was, or the building she'd been held in. Looks like we need to take care of that to make sure those men can't use it again. I have no problem with that, he said with a small smile. The cat chuckled. I'm glad. Their discussion was interrupted when they heard voices over by the portal. Stephanie looked over to see two new figures with their own other friends. He noticed his sister's eyes grow wide with familiarity and relief as she ran over to them. Jimmy, Big Me! She cried up as she met up with them, each of them giving each of them a big hug. Big Me, also known as Tony, laughed. It's good to see you two. Yeah. Jimmy, a tall man with straight blonde hair and brown eyes, smiled at the bush baby. We were pretty worried about where the two of you had gotten to. Well, we made it this far, Martin replied happily. Yeah, Nettie nodded. Well, are you sure it's safe? What about you, Tony? I thought you were working. I wanted to make sure you two got back home safely, Tony replied. It's not a huge deal if I'm not going long. So you're sure it's safe for us to go home? Nettie asked. Trust me, it's safe, Jimmy said. A lot of things have changed after those men attacked us. Maybe not. At least we don't have to worry about that. She looked over at the cat. She added, You two will be okay, though? We'll be fine, Sam assured her. But I'll be sure to let you know if anything changes and we need help. She smiled and nodded. Which seemed to be the cue for the others to prepare to go. Waiting by the portal, as the other two had gone through. 1 more minute, please? She asked him. We'll be waiting for you. The cat watched as the man disappeared through the portal. The bush baby went over to him. The cat, surprised, shocked him. Thank you again for helping me, she whispered softly. I didn't do it alone. The cat reminded her. I know, she said with a nod, pulling away. But you really showed that man that you were all stronger. The cat smiled. Be safe out there, okay? You too, she replied. Then she looked over at the boy. Rebecca hit the cat. Be careful. I will, the cat promised. Now keep going. Your friends are waiting for you. She laughed. I'll see you later then, and try to keep in touch. Do what I can, the cat said. See you soon. Soon, she agreed with a nod before turning and disappearing through the portal. The cat wiped a stray tear from his eyes as he looked over at the boy. That was harder than I thought it would be. The boy smiled sadly and nodded. I'm sure we'll see them again soon. I know, the cat replied. But I really hate goodbyes. Oh. Sam smiled and was understanding, putting a hand on his friend's shoulder. I know you do, but we have two friends waiting for us right now. I don't think either of us would want to worry them too much. I smiled. You're right. Without another word, the two of them began walking back towards where the other two YouTubers were waiting for them. He knew the boy was right. They would see them again. Didn't know when. Right then, it didn't bother them so much. Just glad that they'd both made it home safely. Happy. So yeah. If I start the next chapter, we're gonna start in like Act 3. And I would have to read 26 to end at a good spot. But I don't want to end there because